Honk honk.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of the Sonic Movie Show, the only show that records. I mean, yes, the only one that records, but the only one that actually covers every single video game movie in existence. My name is Ethan, and with me here, lounging out in the backyard, observing, seeing what hits, as always, is Devin. How's it going?
Urishi,
Okay.
which means happy in
Whoa.
Japanese.
Okay.
Sorry, that's the only quote I
I'm
really
impressed.
wrote down. I remember I wrote a note, look up happy, because someone says that in Japanese. So I just,
And sitting inside on the floor, typing away at his manuscript, hoping one day a publisher picks up his memoir, A David Life, is the one and only David. Introduce yourself. Say your funny line.
Taco?
Oh my god. See, every single one of these video game movies, I'm watching them and being like, that's a quote they're going to use. And you guys never use the ones I think would be...
What did you think we were going to use?
When our main character there says, "Sexy ladies?" Like,
No,
they're going to use
I don't know how
that
to say
one.
that in Japanese. That's track.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go down that low. All the ones I pick are actually, I try to like sum up what I feel about the movie. So if anything, it's always a hint. Typically,
Same.
or I try to find
Same.
one that could be used as an insult. So whatever Ethan's introduced me, I sound like
Sure.
an asshole. So
Sure.
so it
Oh,
brings
yeah.
in maybe a new listener who's like first time jumping in. They're like, "Dude, do they hate each other? Is this like MythBusters?" Like, you know,
This
Oh,
is
yeah,
dramatic.
yeah. They work so
I
really
need to
well
watch now.
together,
I want
but
to.
they-
I want to see
yeah.
how this works out.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Folks at home that might not have read the episode title and are wondering, hey, what's going on? We have reviewed the
Clicked a random
2017
video.
Japanese foreign film, foreign to us, domestic to them, live-action film Neko Atsume House, based off of the video game Neko Atsume Kitty
Hit,
Collector.
hit.
Well, I
Hit
mean,
video game.
that's why it got a movie. We watched that movie for y'all's enjoyment. I hope you watched it too. I hope you can
It's hard
find
to
it.
find.
Yeah. Even in my pile,
We
I
got
couldn't
lucky.
find it. We had to motion on over daily to see if we could find a way to watch it.
Yeah, and that guy, I forget his name, but yeah, shout out to that guy for also putting English subtitles in, because he easily could have just
Seriously.
uploaded
And they
it in
weren't
just Japanese
perfect,
too.
but like they were good and well
That's
good
close.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was a couple
I got
grammatical
everything
things
what
where
was
I'm like,
going on.
okay, I just know that they didn't say
I
it
understand.
exactly like
Yeah.
that, but like it didn't.
Yes.
And the acting was
Didn't affect
good
it.
enough to not confuse me as to what they were
Spoilers.
trying to say. Spoiling this movie has people performing roles.
It isn't
Spoilers
Angry
into
Birds
your
where there's
review.
just birds. Yep.
Right.
Yeah, so Neko Atsume House is, yes, indeed, based off of, or at least inspired by, a video game of a similar name, Neko Atsume Kitty Collector, at least as it's called in America. And what this game is basically what this man does in the backyard. I sent you two, a screenshot of my game that I started up a day or two ago. What you do is, at least so far, it's a backyard. I think you can move into the house later. And you pick some toys and objects, and you place them on specific spots in the backyard, and then it tells you, hey, close the app and come back later. And then you do, and then there's a cat just chilling out on one of those spots, maybe a couple cats. And it's more about, like, not a Pokemon catch 'em all thing, but just, like, catalog 'em all. Hey, this is Snowball. Snowball has visited you 3 times. Snowball's favorite thing you put out is the cardboard house. Or it's the lemon cushion that they sit on. Or
That's kind of fun.
You know, it was a big hit
Kinda
amongst...
like Nintendogs.
In a way, yeah. In a very casual kind of, you're not necessarily taking care of a pet, not a simulator, but it's
Yeah.
more of just like, look at the cute animal. I'm glad you brought up Nintendogs. I had all 4 versions of Nintendogs for Nintendo DS because my mom was
Wow.
obsessed
Fucking
with the game.
spoiled, dude.
Yeah, straight up.
I had to
man.
play my fucking cousins for like a day, and then they're like, "Okay, give it back." And I
Wow.
got attached to my dog, and then you take it away from me.
Yeah.
God.
Wow.
I had my dog wear 3D
Traumatic.
glasses, and I thought he was a cool dog.
Pretty
What was
cool.
your go-to dog though, if you had to pick one in that game?
In that game, well, the first version I had was
Or
the
any of the
Dalmatian
games.
one, so I had I liked the Dalmatian, but I'm a fan of beagles. Beagles run in my family, so.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I always like the pugs.
My dad hates pugs.
I
I'm
literally
these are
don't
cute.
even remember. I can't even remember.
Well, they
any
did
of
the
dogs.
Pokemon thing in that game where it was like, this one's called Chihuahua and Friends, this one's called Dachshund and Friends, Golden
Yeah.
Retriever and Friends, Dalmatian and Friends. So there was like a couple dogs that were exclusive to each version. Very dumb idea. But anyway, Neko Atsume House was just a singular game. They did make a sequel later. I haven't touched it. Actually, they made a duplicate version of the original on Apple Arcade, which I have still in a free trial of. So I'm like, cool, I'll download that.
I was just about to look it up.
Yeah,
To
I mean,
see if the original is on the App Store.
It is, and it's very simple. You when a kitty leaves your place, they leave you a gift, which is a currency, and the currency is there's two different kinds, but you use them to buy food and use them to buy the toys and whatnot.
That's me too. Okay.
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
There's Neko, which is a ripoff.
There's
Looks
a lot
like
of
they're all
ripoffs because this was a
inside.
very popular flash in the pan type of game, because it was just a cute idea, and people were like, "Oh, it's," because I think I'm not sure when the game came out, but let's just say it was a year prior to 2017. Let's say it's 2016, 2015. To me, that was like right when the idea of, at least on mobile, of not idle games, but like check-in games where it's like, cool, I'll check in, later today, and I'll see what changed, what happened, and this was just a big hit with it. Not much really to go on it. There's no story. There's no plots to the game. It is just literally seeing what cats show up and then looking at what the cute things that they do.
I looked it up. This game came out on iOS and Android on October 20th, 2014. And as of the recording, we're almost 10 years to the date.
Wow.
So that's a good way to celebrate. We're celebrating Neko Atsume. That's crazy.
Nice,
10 years
nice,
ago.
Nice.
That's weird.
Yeah. I take it, and I don't want to make assumptions here. I have heard of this game before. I never played it. My little sister played it, and I think my mom played it a little bit. And that's kind of it. I knew it was a thing, and I knew people liked it, but I wasn't really that big of like a mobile game player, personally. And if it was, I wanted to play cool games. If that makes sense. I was one of those tough guys,
Like Flappy Bird.
like Flappy Bird. Well, speaking about it, that
Dual
game is
Jump.
coming back, and some nasty stuff surrounding that. David, have you ever heard of this video game before? Listen, the original creator buried Flappy Bird because he was like had so much guilt over the idea people were getting addicted to it, and he made way too much money off the game, so he tried to bury it. And then, like, because he didn't renew the trademark, someone just acquired it in his home country, and it's like a crypto Web3 shilling like corpse has come back. Original person has nothing to do with it, and like they refuse to acknowledge that the guy even existed. Anyway, David,
no,
Neko
I haven't
Atsume
played
House.
Natsu Atsume. I'm surprised, honestly, that you know people who have played this game. I guess I also I don't know anything about mobile games. It's extremely rare for me to play. I don't think I have any mobile games downloaded on my phone.
I know you definitely played
even
Hearthstone
as
a lot
kid.
with me.
Well, I don't know if that counts. I guess that maybe a little bit.
But there was a desktop version that you could play that
Sure,
attached to
yes,
your account,
yes,
so it
yes.
wasn't like a this is only on Android.
Pokemon Go?
Right.
I know in 2016 we
Yeah,
definitely
that's
played
true.
that. We
That's
definitely
true.
drove
That's true.
around. or at least a little
2016
bit.
was 8
That's
years
true.
ago.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
All
right. Yeah, but no, I had no idea what the only thing I knew about this was that it had cats in it. That's literally the only thing I knew, and that was because the starting clip when I think I found the video that we had watched, it had a cat on it. I was like, oh, okay. And I think Ethan had mentioned it's about cats. So I was like, okay. But yeah, literally knew nothing.
Devin, have you ever heard of this game prior to?
I was a diehard fan until it all came crashing down. No,
In the
I
Puppy
never.
Wars?
In the Puppy Wars, I had to choose a side, and it was tough. I tried to play both sides. No, yeah, I've never heard of
You
this
were a
shit.
double agent.
I didn't really play. Yeah, I'm not much a mobile game player. I maybe played a little bit more than how David's described it. Maybe now I have a new phone that actually has storage space. Maybe I can re-download my Godzilla Battle Line game again because I like playing that I like to play that every 6 months. I'll go back for like a couple weeks, have fun with it until I'm like, okay, this is a grind again. I don't.
Well, that's the thing. All mobile games now are these gotcha games where it's just like, just spend a lot of money or feel bad.
It has all the things I like, want out of a Godzilla mobile game. Like it's a fun little strategy game with references and music from the movies and stuff. But it's one of those things where it's like, I'm never going to be like the top 10 in this game unless I, spent my entire life on it, and I'm not into that. So I'll have fun with it as a way to burn time, and then
it's good to have boundaries with those types of games for sure. I recently quit Pokemon Go again after picking it up for the summer. I was like, nope, I'm already feeling like it's a chore to turn the game on. Nope, not doing this.
Or like I'll switch from that to chess. Does chess count as a mobile game?
No,
because I did
chess
a lot
is
of that.
older than I feel like gaming as a concept.
The chess.com app is what I used.
There you go.
But I've never heard of this game. Based off the screenshots, if I did see this, I probably would have at first glance been like Farmville, and then moved on with my day. I think is what I would have probably got out of this. I think if 2014 when this came out. Like I said, if someone said it to me, I don't remember. But yeah, like David said, you mentioned, I think, during probably our draft episode for this series here, for our video game movies, that's when I learned that this is about cats, and it, also learning a little bit of Japanese before I went to Japan. I was like, Neko means cat.
And this was my entire plan. I'm like, by the time we get to this movie, Devin is going to go on to Japan. He's going to feel just so, like, pretentious about the idea. He's going to be like, oh, my God, I just know so much S-rank.
See, I should have watched it. I could have saw
S-rank. And then I'm going to be basking all these points, David. I'm going to win this whole thing because I engineered this.
No, you should have done is draft it first. I would have saw it before I went. And maybe I would have went and visited the house where it was filmed, and then came back and been like, that's an S tier, because, man, that was a small house they filmed in.
Okay. Yeah, we stayed in the house.
I stayed in the house, actually. I bought it.
Yeah, we saw the cats.
We bought all the cats, and they're now in my house. There's like 30 of them. Yeah. I need help.
Some of them are in a cargo container. They got lost.
I don't know where they're lost at sea.
That's sad to think about. Anyway, we should also mention all three of us have a cat each.
True.
So we are all cat owners.
Sort of.
Yeah, well, I mean, I know Bibis doesn't really like you, but
you won't claim a cat that's been in his house now for how many years?
Step cat.
David, your cat is like maybe a couple months younger than mine, and my cat turned 5 recently, so I know your cat is old.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Windows 6, so I think mine...
Oh, really? I thought Window was maybe a couple years older than...
I think she just turned 6.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, because you don't really know for sure. They guesstimate at the vet.
She's a mystery. It isn't like a tree trunk where you can cut them in half and
see
how many rings,
every year a cat grows a new rib cage rib, so you could...
They just turn into like
X-ray. You don't need to kill the cat to see. Yeah, they gain an exoskeleton.
That's why, actually, armadillos are cats, because that's how they got that shell. They're really old cats.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It would be funny if you just had an old cat and he was just like a wiener dog, like so long.
Oh yeah, like
just like because they grew a rib each year.
Yeah, there's because cats live to stretch. So
you were saying growing it that way. I was visualizing
long. Oh, you were going wide.
That's why I was
like they were overlapping each other.
That's why I said the armadillo, because I was like, he's like a hardened shell. They protect themselves.
I mean, it's not impossible. There are tortoises that are older than humans can possibly live to. So why can't a cat?
Yeah.
Why can't a cat? So we watched the movie that's based off of this. This was my pick. So we have this draft we did earlier in the year where we each picked 6 movies for a total of 18 films. There were 24 possible picks, so there were 6 movies left behind. This was my 5th pick. So I got this movie as number 5.
Yeah.
To me, my entire 6 movie picks have been movies I wanted to see. Not necessarily movies I was expecting to gain a lot of points with, but then also like they're all Hail Marys, and this one was the most question mark of a Hail Mary. I had no
I
idea.
almost counterpicked this.
Really?
Really? Oh.
Yes. It was between this one. Cause I thought for sure this was going to be absolute trash.
Hint, hint.
But
he just gave away his score. He said it's an S tier, Ethan.
But I ended up picking just through sheer like age the Mario,
which was a more
this can't
smart
be
pick.
good.
Yeah, it was a more smart pick for sure.
I'll say if I remember correct, I think I said this in the last episode we did, where when I was just going off names and the loose knowledge that Ethan shared with me prior, or
I shared it with
movie.
David.
Yes,
I didn't give you just straight up,
Ethan told me what to draft before the draft started.
That's why he's winning.
Collusion. Yeah,
and that's why I'm losing by heavily.
But no, on my like draft board of like
half his points.
I had it down in the middle section, but I did have it. There was during the draft. If Ethan didn't draft it where he did, that would have probably been my next pick.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly. So, I had a feeling that I'm like this movie. Before I get into my thoughts, I know Ethan will go first here.
Goddamn
That's how
right.
we do it per tradition. But I'll say I would have drafted it, and the reason I wanted to draft it was because it sounded cute. The idea of a cat house. How bad of a movie can it be if it just has cute cats in it? I think I'm just thinking about me and Ethan here when maybe David
could
hates
have been
cats.
pretty bad.
I was like, the floor can't be that low for a cat movie. I don't know. We watched the Flappy Birds movie, and we're like, oh, it's actually not
Flappy Birds
terrible.
movie? You mean Angry Birds?
Or sorry, the Angry Birds.
Angry Birds was a C tier.
That was my strategy. That's why
Okay.
I was going to draft it.
All right. Well, time to give thoughts on the movie. Yes, because this was my pick, I will go first on overall opinions, as we usually do on the Sonic Movie Show here when we review video game-based movies. I will say this. A nice change of pace to watch a movie about adults in the real world, and it's not an action. I understand video games, just in general, mostly action-based in the sense, and not having live action or animated, regardless of that, not being a movie where it's people fighting or fighting things or each other or whatnot, was a nice change of pace. This is a nice slice of life style film. I am a little bit. I didn't know that it was a movie about a writer, and I like movies that are like that. I like the concept of that type of stuff. I especially love when what the book they are trying to write is never really said to us because it doesn't matter as an audience. I like that stuff. I maybe a little bit pretentiously I like that stuff. But I enjoyed this movie a lot. I haven't watched too many Japanese films that are not anime, aka I don't want to say real movies, but like live action movies that aren't some sort of anime adjacent type of thing, like a Godzilla. You know what I mean? Like those count in that kind of shonen anime almost type of thing, even though they're not the same. But still, it's a different type. This is a drama in a sense compared to those. And I was a bit surprised at how much I did enjoy it. I was a little bit apprehensive on the main character. I thought he was a bit too fucking dumb for someone who was supposed to be smart enough to land kind of job as being like an author that has won awards before. But the spaciness of him did make sense as we moved on. And I did end up liking him a lot towards the end. I think all the supporting cast was great. I especially did like his editor there. I thought she was great as well. All the acting, granted, line delivery, harder for me to judge for myself because I do not speak the language that they speak, to be fair. But I thought they all did really well. There was a few shots that I actually thought, hey, for a movie that I'm sure did not have that much of a budget, I actually kind of appreciated what they did. Not to go too deep and talk too much because I want you guys to give your opinions too. Two things I liked. When he was taking photos of the cats, like there's no way to choreograph what the cats are going to do. Yes, they are trained to a degree to like not skimper off and run away. Like they're trained to like, hey, you're going to sit here. but like, he's taking photos and it felt more real because I could tell you could see him literally taking the photos with the phone. You can hear the snapshot sound, which is a legal requirement for all cameras in Japan to make that sound. When Devin went to Japan, I was going to ask him in that stream, did you guys turn the sound on your phones when you guys took photos?
No.
Well, you were doing stuff illegally in Japan.
It's freaking all outlaw.
Yeah, it is a law.
I also learned after I came back from Japan that like you're not supposed to take pictures of like at the subway, like even if just waiting.
I don't really know for a fact that that's the reason why the camera click sound is required, but perverts on the subway is a huge problem apparently. And that's I guess.
Sorry, Japan.
Yeah,
I will immediately go to Japanese court.
Exactly.
If he means provide me free housing,
submit to jail.
Dude, there was one of those like ugly American type of tourist people who was like, you've seen people on Twitter, like they'll take photo of someone in public and then like make fun of them online, and like if you're a sane person, you're like, why are you mocking this random stranger? Are you weird? This is just a person. This person was doing that to people on the train in Japan, other tourists, because like she had blue hair or something crazy like that, and that social media got enough backlash and attention that she got what's the word? Deported. She got kicked out of the country because the Japanese government saw that and realized, she's not using the camera sounds, so you're out of here. This is one of our laws. But anyway, I enjoyed those scenes of him taking the photos of the cats because that felt realistic enough, because you can't corral them enough to make it perfectly cinematic how you want. And there were 2 moments in the movie where him and his editor are talking and the camera is doing that thing where it swirls around them. A little sloppy on the first one, but that is such a hard type of pacing to do that I still appreciated how it happened. And I enjoyed the whole thing. I won't sit here and be like, dog, this is the best movie we've seen yet. But I was surprised at how well I enjoyed this movie. Devin, because you were so keen to speak earlier, you have the floor, good sir. What did your cat Window think about this movie?
I think she was sleeping in the room, and she's sleeping right now.
Classic.
On her Spy Family blanket that we got her at the discounted anime store.
Loves it.
You're welcome. No, I also will agree. I this movie being on Daily Motion or whatever we watched it on. I was a little worried. I'm like, wow, this must be a real stinker that they're like there's not a publisher out there or distributor out there who's going to want to even just put it on Prime.
I was surprised
there's
at that.
plenty of foreign films on Prime that you can find that don't have, that aren't obviously in English and don't have like big followings. There's been some very obscure stuff I've seen on there before.
It also just seems like an easy way to make money. Throw it on there with your own subtitles. You'll just make some money. Like, even if it's like to purchase.
But I understand that like a lot of, even Godzilla films sometimes take 2 years to come to America on physical or Prime Video because of distributing rights and copyright stuff. So maybe it's just not worth it for them, which is a shame because I think this was like, even if this wasn't a video game movie and I just happened to watch it, I'd be like, oh, this is a pretty fun movie. This is a really like solid movie. It's very cute. And you were talking about like different shots, Ethan. To me, that was my biggest takeaway, was a combination of the cinematography and the actors working together. And I don't even think, like you said, Ethan, too, with like, the language, I can't really like gauge that. You can still gauge like their facial expressions, how they project a feeling or a situation. And there was, of course, some of the Japanese, quirks, I guess you can call them, that you'll see even in anime, right? Where like, like the one shopkeeper is kind of flirting with him and he's uncomfortable, and that I've seen that in animes too, kind of that similar like dynamic. But going back to the cinematography, there was a couple like long shots. I'm not going to say it's one shot film, right? But like long shots that I know probably weren't, guaranteed for success to do. There was one where he's first gets all his toys and whatever, right? And he's putting them all out in the yard, and then his editor's coming and he doesn't want to, he's embarrassed by it. And it doesn't cut at all.
Yeah.
The shot doesn't cut for like a solid 3 to 4 minutes.
We watch him put all the things out and then kick them all aside. I actually did, and I recognize that, like, you know, he's having to make sure he's putting them in the frame, and he puts one of the toys just slightly out of frame. I'm like, I don't know. I find that a little bit charming, even though that would technically be something. Be like, nope, cut, start again, you know, type of thing you might see.
Well, I think the cinematography, like I said, once again, like, works with the actors where it feels more authentic. It feels like you're there with them. There's even parts where they're trying to, like, you know, when I think there's one part where he like either wakes from sleep and he kind of like gets like shocked or whatever, and the camera does a nice like zoom in there and then follows him back as he sees what he's shocked about. Oh, the cat is here that he was waiting for all day is here, and you kind of feel that more because of the camera direction. If you had just a standard shot, it might not hit as much, but like you can get that intimacy with the actor, let him cook, and then you bring him out to, you know, add to the element of his acting. And that circle thing, I think, just shows him kind of his emotion of almost things are spiraling out of control a little bit for him, and I feel like it just adds to their acting, which I think as a director and a cinematographer is your job. And there's been plenty of bad movies. I think that's to me, that's like where you differentiate like what makes a good cinematographer, a special cinematographer, is if you can elevate other people's performances, because they can have a great performance, but if you have shoddy camera work or awful just production value, it can take you out of the film, right? We've just other movies coming up that we'll talk about on that front. And watching this movie before that is interesting. But yeah, like the production for, like you said, even a small budget film, I think they did really well with what they had. And I want to just shout like the director and the cinematographer and just the actors all working very cohesively, which made it feel so much more authentic. And for me, I really like fell in the story more, and I can like kind of sit there with them and go through it. Like, or when she's sitting on the bus, kind of like with the one, like the tear coming out of her eye, like it slowly zoomed in, and they did a little slow motion to like really like let you sit in that, and like that works, you know. There's a lot of like shots in this movie. I wish we could like have the movie up and like reference every shot. I try to take some notes,
but we're not.
But no, there's really not many like negatives with this film outside of like I think it was a tad too long, but like I don't know what you would cut. I feel like everything kind of worked, and I think there was once again some, even with the decent subtitles, there was some like things where I was a little confused about. At first, I thought the editor and him maybe were going to be a thing. And
there's a pretty big age gap, I think, between the two of them.
But still, like, I just thought they were kind of hinting at that, and then they didn't go that direction, and just felt a little bit like I kind of wanted that to happen, though, by the end of the movie, and then it wasn't.
Yeah. I think they were intentionally doing that, right? I mean, the shopkeeper, like, when he brought it up,
that's what I thought.
I thought that was, like, obvious that they were playing into that. They wanted... Maybe...
Sorry. Go on.
No, that was it.
I was gonna say, I think they also wanted you to think about that too. When like the editor says, "Oh, she's on maternity leave," they're like, "Oh, we didn't even establish that you could get pregnant." You know what I mean? Let alone like that you had already gotten pregnant. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think there is like that's where the story, I think, just with the lack of maybe perfect subtitles, where there might have been a dialogue that maybe we didn't get the context of. Maybe. Where I think maybe there was. I think it's part of like his journey too, is like him realizing like it's the simple things in life. I feel like is what kind of the story's about to me. It's like, or the cat was always there for him, and or his editor was always there for him, and he always pushed them away. And maybe there was an opportunity for them to be together, but he pushed her away too much and was too much of a dick at moments. I
mean, there's also the setting. I want David to be able to speak his mind, but I'll just quickly say, like, it taking place in the Japanese countryside for the most part, like, means a lot more to that culture than it does to us. That is definitely a place, like,
I can see that.
You don't just get to go to, you need a reason to. Like, no one just goes out to the bumfuck of nowhere. Like, what do you do? Because there's a lot of people that live in, like, Tokyo or whatnot that just, like, fantasize that idea of going to the Inaka countryside on a cultural level, almost kind of like, I guess the closest thing I could say is like the idea of them as American of just, you know what, I'm journeying west. I'm just gonna go west and just see where I find what I find and how far I get.
Been there, done that.
Just that I mean, literally, yes. Just that idea that's something that like culturally is something that like, man, the idea of doing that just like really gets to me.
Yeah, I think
and
there's
that same thing with the
countryside
countryside setting there. There are famous movies, Japanese movies, that are all about like yearning for that, especially as children as well. Stuff like Totoro.
I think part of it too is that like that, Shintoism too is this like, balance with nature and stuff. I think that also is what a part of what you're saying too, Ethan. Where you go from the concrete jungle to like this most calm.
The luxury of having personal space like that to that degree is, I'm sure, like huge to people that live in places like Tokyo, you know what I mean, in Japan, where everyone's stacked on top of each other.
It's funny too, because like we say it, tons of space, but we probably see like a 10-foot by 20-foot section of yard in the back. Like we see him walking down a long like driveway, but the entire movie takes like, not the entire movie, but like a lot of the main action with the cats takes place in like 10-foot by 20-foot. Like this is not like thousands of acres. But they don't even have yards at hundreds of acres.
Yeah.
Right. No, I know. I'm just saying it's like, it's funny thinking, because I feel like out here, like lots of land, you're thinking like, like Yellowstone.
A few acres
land,
all to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
just the idea that you could be on a dirt road walking to your house or whatever, and like, you don't see anyone is like, I would imagine. I've never, experienced that. I still want to point out. I imagine that would be like a crazy thing to want,
So I'll point out quick the fact that the editor could still take a bus out there. Respect. Once again, what are we doing out here, man? Come on, dude.
David,
can the bus come out down to my house?
Buses in Hilton.
Yeah, you can definitely take the bus, David.
Not like a city bus that takes you to fucking downtown Rochester from where I live. No, Come on now. That's what I'm talking about.
I don't know, Devin. The buses stop at every house where I live. Every single one. True. Yeah, you can just tell us to go somewhere. That was not an inside joke. That was just nonsense I was saying. David, what did you think about the movie?
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it all. One of the first things I wrote down was that the videography, I mean, it was just like compared to, and I'm not saying this is an S tier film, but even compared to some of our S tier films, you don't have to begrudgingly say
you like the movie that you didn't pick.
Even compared to some of our S tier films, I was like, wow, like it was clearly lower budget than them, but man, they nailed like every shot, and I was very impressed. I will say in the middle it was a little bit boring for me, but that might, I don't know if that's the film's fault or this is just not my type of film. I don't think there was any specific pacing issues or like boring story. I think it was just like, if we weren't watching this film, like, for this podcast, I probably wouldn't have watched it. But at the same time, I think I really appreciate how good it was. And then the soundscapes were really good. There was like moments of silence and then like, cats eating, like intensely eting that. And then there was also some music as well that I thought was good. And it was not just placed in there to make a scene not feel awkward or like random. It was like everything felt very intentional. And then the other thing that I think Devin hit on this a little bit, but like the acting was very genuine, and these felt like real characters. They were not, it was not corny characters. Like they felt like, if you told me this was based off a true story and this was like they were just filming their lives, I would be like, okay, yeah, I mean, that's believable. Yeah, I mean, that I pretty much everything else you guys said. There's really not many bad. As much as I not wanted to hate this movie, but as much as like where we found it and what I thought this movie was going to be, this was not like the biggest comeback, but like the biggest
upset
difference, the biggest upset in my mind, surprise of where I thought it was going to be to where it actually was. There was the biggest range that I think we've had this season.
That's fair. I'm looking at the previous movies we reviewed thus far, and I'm like, no, I don't think any of them are that crazily different than where I would have thought they were before watching them, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I know, I don't know what made me think about this. I think maybe just because this doesn't happen often in American films, I wrote down there were so many dogs in this film. I thought that Tarantino produced it.
Feet.
There's so many feet, so much feet. Right. There was like feet shots.
Dogs,
I was like
actual.
No, I know.
For a second, I was confused. I'm like,
there was, I think it's just like a cultural thing. Like,
well,
you're always taking off your shoes in
the
your
countryside, so you're not gonna wear socks.
But it was just funny because I feel like, I mean,
they were giving them away for free. Buddy, blur those and make the X-rated version.
Right, yeah.
Director's
I was like, where's
cut.
Tarantino? He's going to produce the next one. But
a couple things I enjoyed, I'll bring up again. A moment that was funny, but also like hit because like I can feel it. I don't like. I empathize. I don't like it. Is when rents due. I had trouble taking your rent out of your account, and just that idea of just him just being like, I quit my job. Okay, so you gotta we gotta you're gonna have to figure this out, right? That's how society works. Like that line there, I'm like, you are gonna find another job, right? Like, yeah, like, oh my god, that felt so awkward in a way that felt, like I felt that. Like, I've never been, like, in that position, so to speak, but I've definitely been like, oh, yeah, I can definitely see that for me. I can see that happening. In general, I really enjoyed that. Also, well, I did kind of find it funny. I don't know how easy this would happen. It felt, and I don't mean to say this as a negative, but just by uttering the words Hallmark Channel, I think it's implying a negative. But just that idea of like, but the store that he buys all this stuff in, well, you know what? Why don't you work here? Start right now, and hands you the broom type of thing. Is definitely small town Hallmark Channel type movie.
I feel like it's like a small town drama trope for sure of like, that connection you made, and we showed them like here and there, and you're like, that's just a fun character that our main character interacts with.
And then
it's like, nope.
Now it is important to the movie. I enjoyed. I thought she was great. She's definitely closer in age to him than the editor is. But if we want to, for sure.
I thought she was much older than the editor. I thought the editor was like his age or younger.
The editor is younger than him, and the shopkeeper is probably closer to his age. I don't know in which direction.
But older.
Older than the editor.
She seemed older. Oh, I was saying she seemed older than the guy.
I don't know. That could be.
Okay, that was just my perception.
Maybe it's like 5 or 7 years.
Right.
I think she was just more mature acting, maybe.
She's an adult that owns a business. So, like, naturally,
Yeah.
But I enjoyed her. I did find it funny, even though it's very possible to not find it funny, that scene where he is like, everyone that has done customer service just does not want to do it on their first day. Of like, I don't want to talk to this customer. Oh my god, it's so demeaning, or I'm so embarrassed, or blah blah blah. I enjoyed that scene where he just goes to hide and she just drags him out, and like the customer's almost like frozen in thought, like unresponsive to the whole thing until now the person's there. I enjoyed that, and he basically immediately like upsold her on just the expensive like canned cat food stuff, which I also thought was funny.
I actually want to talk about that scene, 'cause that was one of my negatives. Actually, is I feel like they needed to establish a little bit more for him, his kind of social awkwardness, because I feel like that was a little bit out of place for me.
They definitely said it, but they said it, not shown it.
Yeah, maybe, and I don't remember when they said it. Honestly, I I feel like they should have showed it another moment where he like because even when he goes to the cat store, he's like quiet, but I wouldn't have called him like awkward where he can't like hold a conversation.
He was just like a loner.
Yeah.
When that scene felt way
necessarily
more like a like I don't know. I don't talk to like it felt a little bit
almost
too
like
much.
anime.
But I'd let it slide because I was like, this is the only scene where I really critiqued the character's actions, and I'm fine with that being in it though. Like at the end of the day, I wasn't like, ugh, this sucked right here. I was more just like, oh, I wish they could have maybe added a scene where he struggles to talk to strangers, and maybe that's why he's one of the reasons he's a writer. He can kind of hide behind a computer, behind a desk somewhere. He's not a forward-facing working class person.
And that hurts him in his career because the other guy he compares himself to is out there doing photo shoots. Do you see our main character doing a photo shoot for his book? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think so. You know,
I think they tried to introduce that. Thinking back, I wrote down a different scene. I just wrote down that the cat store lady was kind of weird. Like if we're honest, like if we walked in, the first time that they met and he was talking about cats, she physically rubbed up against him. I'll be like, I don't know, that would be weird.
That was the second
like this
time,
cashier came.
Yes.
Okay, maybe it was a second, but still, the second time meting someone, I don't want you to rub your body against me.
I'm gonna do that to David next time I see him in person.
That will not be the second time. But
well, this will be the first time with clothes on. He'll rub it against.
Yeah, that was more than that. I think that they tried in that scene to show his social awkwardness, but I think the emphasis was more on her than it was on him, and that might have been a little bit of a failure in the like what they wanted to show, perhaps.
There's just also just an overall necessity to show the politeness of the culture. You know what I mean? And just like it's very easy to just fall back on being overly polite to kind of mask like I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? Type of thing.
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of
maybe
not a nitpick. Maybe it's a little bit more than that, but it also wasn't, like I said, it didn't take me out of the film. It didn't I wouldn't necessarily. I don't know what I would change with it outside of actually adding something. I wouldn't have gotten rid of it. I think there could have been maybe at some point an opportunity to be like to do the level of which it's just a different level. There was moments definitely where he, I think, didn't know how to answer something or whatnot, but it was much more. And the stakes were even higher, I think. Like that first scene we see him in is him passed out at the restaurant, and his associates, the editor and the other guy there, the publisher, are like, "Hey, dude, you're not paying attention." He's like, "Oh yeah," like he's awkward there, but it wasn't to the same degree. Of,
those are people he knows, so it's
job.
different.
Yeah.
It would be like if I was asleep around you guys. At
it was like normal amount of awkwardness for being like in a business meeting asleep. Like,
I'm just trying to think of like there could have been other situations.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a little bit more than nitpick, but I wouldn't. It's not a huge knock or anything. But I just wanted that's one of my notes.
Can I ask you guys? I thought in the beginning of this movie, I wasn't sure where it was going because they had the whole thing where the main chief guy wanted him to add a zombie or make the main character a zombie, and then there was a scene where he saw a zombie. I was like, "Oh, is this gonna be like
a horror movie?
Like a weird horror movie?"
I was like, I did write that down.
Nothing ever happened with that, so I don't know if they just like thought that was funny, so like let's just keep it in.
That's his life. He's a zombie in his own life. You know what I mean? I think that was meant to be more of that. I mean, because he's always literally asleep. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He's just kind of going through the motions like a zombie.
Okay.
And also just like hey, wake up, you need to change your life. Because then right after that, he goes and talks to someone who he assumes is a fortune teller of some sort.
That was, I thought that scene was actually really funny.
Yes,
the
me
taco
too.
is like,
yes.
Because I'm sitting there being
English
like,
audience.
hey, I don't know Japan as a place that much. Is there a place that sounds like taco or shorthand to taco? And it's like, it could be that, or it could be a joke. I'm about to find out what it is. And then, it was a joke. But then obviously it
Why'd I
becomes
freeze on
real.
this thing?
That's the second
There
time
it
that's
goes.
happened, Devin. And then you speed up.
I'm back.
But it's okay.
He catches up.
Yes. I enjoyed that whole thing. And, like, yes, like, it would be easy to be like, oh, really? Such a dumb thing is what caused him to move out, to who knows where. But, like, that's the type of just coincidental, like, change, like, catalyst for a change that is, like, I feel like good in stories like this, where it's like, yes, this person needed something, just anything. And, like, someone with some sort of authority in how they spoke to him said, yep, this is what you need to do. Or at least in his eyes, it was an authority.
It was almost like a fortune cookie or something.
Yeah.
Like, I know probably not in real life do people make decisions off of those things. But
Last fortune cookie I had was a little bit smashed and had no fortune in it.
Oh.
So I don't know what to do with my life.
It's coincidentally I had Panda Express today, and mine was like, it's smart to go with your first choice. I'm like, oh, you mean the phone case I got at Target for my new phone? I went with my first choice, the first thing I saw. But no, I mean, like, I think that works too, in, like you said, in these kind of drama movies, but even in, like, freaking action movies, it's a thing where it's like,
sure.
Oh, I was just a farmer, and then all of a sudden, I became something else.
Spoilers.
We'll get to that another day, another day, another day, another day, another week, another month.
Or even like Lord of the Rings, right? Where it's like, oh, it's just a hobbit.
Yeah, a lot of people want to be Lord of the Rings these days, huh? But another day. We'll get to those as well. We're all on the same page. I think. Is there anything we can think of? Oh, I will say this. It didn't bother me. I thought it was a little bit funny, and I don't think they intended it to be a funny thing that they were doing, but the Red Bull product placement was a bit much in a way where it's just like, yep, that's all he fucking drank. And it was,
I didn't see that as a product placement. I saw that as like he's just addicted to that because that's the only way he could function.
It could be, and they just
like
chose
someone drinking
that.
Coffee.
Well, it could just be like the fact that Coronas in the Fast and Furious were just initially because Vin Diesel just liked them, and they weren't a product.
Well, those
placement.
at least in the newer movies,
they are now. I'm talking about back in the initial, but there was like he opens his refrigerator, and the only thing is a sea of Red Bulls facing the camera. Stuff like that. Where I'm like, this is definitely a product placement. Who knows how much? That doesn't matter, but
I guess I just didn't think it was a product placement either. It wasn't. Really? It was like it. Yeah, I don't know. I guess
I don't remember them directly showing even the logo. I feel like
they definitely did.
It was only not like in his hands. Like once he was holding it, there was multiple times where he was because I think it would have stuck out more to me as a product placement if he did do that. I thought
the lighting was better.
So like as this drinking this as opposed to like kind of like this
showing it kind of like thing. This. Be like, oh man, I'm really thirsty right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought for a minute I was like, wait,
it could have been a subtle one.
Yeah, of course. I thought for a minute it was beer. I was like, wait, because at first it was like, oh, it's Red Bull, and then I was like, wait, he's drinking it like someone would have a beer after a long day, but it's a Red Bull. I'm super stressed. Let me get amped up. It just like it did feel weird. But maybe he was just trying to. I guess he was tired Maybe it was just because he was tired all the time that he was like
that's his way of staying up.
Yeah, he just constantly drinks it.
Or maybe it's just a way to connect to a younger audience by like, look, this is what you drink, kids. With your cats.
Hey, if you want to play Neko Atsume, you better be pounding these if you're going to get the number one on the leaderboard, my friend.
A game where you mostly play by having it closed and then you check back later.
You gotta be like you have to have 6 different phones.
Right. Oh, like those people that play Pokemon Go and they just have like 8 phones on their bicycle handle. You know what I mean?
And plywood
handlebars. Yeah. It's like that's a lot of mobile data plans you're paying for.
Yeah, Jesus. The only other thing I'll say, unrelated to the movie, this is just me being a nerd. Is the Japanese wood saw that he was using? I've actually heard that those are extremely nice to use for cutting
Really?
wood, and then they're
Bro,
like
what are
way
you, like,
they're way better
45?
than arm.
Really? It was also taking
You're
him a
like-
while
just
to
a fun
do that,
fact.
too. And he actually
yeah.
was
Like
sawing
You
that, by
have-
the way. When he
You
went
have
back,
to clamp it, but it's way better.
when he went back to saw it, said, "Hey, do you mind if I continue this?" Like, you could see he, like, starts and continues the cut. Like, it wasn't, like, I don't know, they just brought in another one for the other take. My nerdy thing, bro has an iPhone and a MacBook. And he's getting, he throws his phone in, like, the closet because he doesn't want, but he doesn't turn the phone off. Whatever. He's getting a call, and he, like, we hear it buzzing, and he's, like, looking over at the thing, like, homie, you got that continuity between having two Apple products. Your laptop is
No
telling
Wi-Fi
you,
though.
your
No
laptop's
Wi-Fi.
telling you have a phone call right now. That's all I'm saying. But
Yeah, but it doesn't have his Wi-Fi on. It's airplane mode.
Yeah.
we
Doesn't
don't
go
know.
through.
We don't know.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's no signal out there. Let's be real.
There's no- yeah.
Wi-Fi at that place.
yeah,
True.
He doesn't have anything in his place, by the way. He didn't bring anything.
literally nothing.
I low key like that. But
I mean, it was furnished enough. You know what I mean? These are. It's the type of culture
Furnished
where, like,
enough. He didn't.
sitting
he
on the
had
floor
a
is
cushion. I know, but he had one cushion.
he bought
didn't even-
more furniture for his cats
for
than
sure.
he did
Yeah.
Sure,
for himself.
He
I do wanna
basically
talk
went
about
broke
the-
buying cat food and cat toys. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, talking about gonna nerd out. This isn't really a nerd thing, but I did like in the beginning of the movie. He had like a little office, like cubby hole thing where you have to crawl into.
That was like
It's
Oh,
all
that's like an
padded.
internet cafe. I think he went to.
Yeah, I want one of those at
Wait,
my
what?
office.
So there are
the
places
cubby in his house.
that wasn't
No,
in his house. That was a place he
There
went
was a
to.
first. It was like really. It's like in the first 10 minutes of the movie. It's
Okay.
the editor she comes in.
Where he
It says,
scares
like,
her, right?
Yeah, she scares.
Or she scares him. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's reading reviews on his latest piece in the week or the monthly, magazine, so to speak. Because it's one of those things where it's like a whole bunch of writers write their next, chapter, and each of their stories, like Shonen Jump for manga heads, like
It's kind of like a
was like that, but,
a comic almost, but
yeah,
a
exactly.
written
exactly.
form.
No, that was definitely at like an internet cafe type place. That
I
he
want one
went
of those
to,
either at
but-
my house or my apartment here, or at work. I feel like,
And then above
I
you,
like
you
kinda
can
sitting
have
on
a
the ground.
place
That
for
looked
the
really
cats to
cozy.
live.
It just looked really cozy as opposed to sitting in like a uncomfortable office chair that like hurts my posture because I'm doing this. I want something where I can lay on the ground, type in. I can like do sit on the one end of the wall. That'd be nice. So it looked really cozy, and I had a note about that. So
Okay.
It's like a little Harry Potter.
and
nook.
there'd be no allergies in there. God damn.
There would not be no allergies in there.
Yeah, you could
That's
fit
for
a
sure.
big air purifier in a small space.
Oh,
Yeah.
one other goofy
Suck all
thing
the
I
air out of
liked
it.
as he's reading comments about, I think this was after the guy became a zombie or whatever. He's reading reviews or just comments on online about his work. They're all flashing by, and one of them was just www, like someone just held down the W key. Unless
W, dude.
but
W's in
everyone
chat.
was saying it was bad, so it was certainly not supposed to be like this ruled type of thing. I like that because it was just like I think someone literally just held down W and pressed enter. In within this
He
fiction
was
kind of a
saying
thing,
what?
or it could mean
Yeah,
something.
maybe that's
and
like
I don't
holding
know.
L over and over, like massive
Yeah,
L's.
maybe W.
Could be, yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
it means L in Japan. Or it could have been W's in chat. He could have been one. He had one
been
person who's
one
like,
fan.
"Yo, this one was
Yeah,
sick.
yeah.
I'm a fan."
Yeah. I did like the little gag that the shopkeeper didn't buy his book; she rented it from the library, and he's like, "Well, I still appreciate it
I like-
nonetheless."
Yeah. I guess I'll say the last thing maybe I'll say is I feel like this had comedy in it, but not too much. Like there was like the little jump scares that where his editor was scaring him, and then there was like cute little jokes, but it was not.
I think they had a good
yeah.
balance. I think if they had too
Yeah.
many more, it would have made it feel awkward or like
Yeah.
would have been like, is this supposed to be a comedy? Where you start questioning it. It was a good
Right.
like charming
Yeah.
comedic bits that fit with the charm of the entire movie for sure.
No, it's not a comedy unless Adam Sandler and Paul Blart the Mall Cop are in it. So.
Honestly,
me a
that's what we're
ticket.
actually trying to do on this podcast is doing more charming humor. So we have to actually cut back. We're throwing too many jokes in here, especially Devin.
We're
That
just
guy's
too
annoying.
charismatic.
www.
WW. Put the W's in chat if Devin's too annoying.
Exactly. All right, so anything else before we kind of like do the whole shebang that we usually tend to do?
What was your favorite cat?
My favorite cat. I'm pretty sure my favorite cat was the black cat at the beginning, or at least in the flashback that was drinking the blue like ice or whatever.
Getting drunk.
Choosing Pikachu.
Yes, choosing Pikachu. Yeah, I think that's my favorite. David, do you have a favorite cat from the movie?
No.
You don't like the rambunctious one that sometimes would like there was a cat he went to go take a photo of and it just sprinted away and then he moved on. You know what I mean?
I don't know that I could tell you. There was the black cat. There was like the first white cat.
The kind of
And I
stubby
think there
face
was
cat.
orange cats.
There's a lot of cats.
There was one that was kind of like a gray spotted one, and I thought that one was really pretty, so I like that.
I will
one.
say he does make like the scrapbook about the cats. It is something you do in the video game. It's where your album is. And I was a little bit surprised that we didn't get into like naming the cats or like it wasn't about the specific cats. It was about him connecting with an aspect about himself he didn't realize was always there through seeing all of these cats. You know what I mean? It was less about like, and that's Snowball over there, and that's English Muffin, and that's El Diablo sitting in that tree.
And that's Bazooka over there.
That's a great name for a cat.
I imagine like a big cat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yo, Bazooka, get off
You
the
have to
couch.
overfeed it.
Yeah, we call him Bazooka because after we feed him tuna, he just fucking stinks the place up. In one big...
He's one shot out of everything, both mouth and butt.
Jesus.
Pukes, projectile
Okay.
vomit.
Same time.
Why don't we move on then and talk about what we do here on the program, here on the Sonic Movie Show. Like I said, hey, we review all these video game movies. We watch them all. We had this draft, and you can see all the movies here on the screen that we've done thus far. We give them tier rankings based on how we collectively felt about it. There's points award. You can see I'm in dirt last so far. Devin has just almost twice as much points as I do. We'll see if I can claw back some sort of chance at maybe reaching second. I don't know. We'll see. But to explain, because you see all these letters, there's C, S, S, C, C, D, D, E, B, D, C, B. What does that mean? You know, and who knows how they even got to that? So to tell you all about it, David, no, I'm kidding. Devin, it would be funny if I did spring it on David and say, David, you're doing it now.
Maybe David should do
What
the
if I
last
just
one.
aced it?
As long as you give me
I'm
an
not
estimate, I don't
gonna
care.
prep
No, I'm kidding. To walk us through what all these mean in 3 minutes or less is Devin in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Go.
See, I'm thrown off. We have S, A, B, C, D, E, and F here at the Sonic Movie Show, and these are video game movie tiers. So some of these, tiers you see here might not relate to a general movie. For example, if you see an S tier video game movie, it might only be a B to you in a general movie tier. So there's a curve to it. There's a curve to it, and that curve does change as we do this show. Sometimes I feel like it gets wider and wider and tougher and tougher, but that's how it goes. But yeah, S tier, we have Detective Pikachu.
Like a well-done
Maybe they'll
steak.
make another one. We'll see if that ever happens. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, we're getting another one of those soon. We'll see if it can top it. S tier. It's just movies that are special, highly recommend, pretty much all good in it. If we have any critiques, very minor nitpicks, but it has that special sauce where you're like, hell yeah, I love this freaking movie. A tier, we have pretty much movies like Sonic the Hedgehog, Tomb Raider, the newer one, and Uncharted in there. These are movies that are very, very good, but maybe just missing that special sauce to get you S tier. But still, I'd rather have an A tier film every day of the week. Then we get to B tier. Thanks for the honk outside. Then we get B tier. These are movies that are more good than bad. So maybe 60-40%. Some say 70-30. Depends on how you're feeling. We got B tier. We have movies like Dead or Alive. We have Mortal Kombat, Ni no Kuni, Resident Evil, and Silent Hill. Then we have C tier, which is where most of our movies wind up in. And this is also a thing that we've debated before. Is there tiers within the tiers? C definitely has tiers in it because I think there's a wide range here because these movies are just average. They're okay. Kind of 50-50, good, bad. Maybe not the most exciting, just kind of solid sometimes, but yeah, just not really doing much for you generally These are C tier movies. Most of the Resident Evil movies are in there where, hey, great action, but plot and character. So that's C tier, right? Then we got D, which is more bad than good, kind of the polar opposite of B tier. We have movies like Resident Evil Afterlife, Warcraft in there, Assassin's Creed, where we just didn't like as much than we liked, and kind of just is downright boring. E tier is for bad. I mean, you can argue D is kind of the start of bad, but E is the bad, certified bad. We have movies like Monster Hunter. We had Blood Rain, and then we have King of Fighters as well in there. And we also just did a movie this season called Dead Trigger, where we had a harsh debate of whether it belonged in D and E, and that was fun.
It came out in E at the end.
Yeah, that's E tier. And then F tier we save for movies that are just really you shouldn't even watch it, man. You shouldn't even watch it because they stink so bad, and they're downright offensive. Like, it was embarrassing for everyone involved, the viewer, the people making it. Wow. I hope we never get another movie in there again, because oh my god, that was shit.
Me too.
Postal is in that one. Don't watch that movie.
Thank you, Devin. I appreciate you as always. These are the points that would be awarded for each of those tiers. You can ignore counterpoints for now. Next episode or next movie review, counterpoints will be in play. But for this one, they are not. It's a very simple 6 through 0 point scale, depending on what we collectively decide this movie is considered as its tier. And then I will be awarded those points because this was my pick for the movie. So, because this was my movie, I get to make my pitch first. I'm not going to take too much time here. I think none of us really had anything negative to say that wasn't nitpicky and easily hand-waveable way that we would have done in other movies. That doesn't necessarily automatically give it 100% on the grade report there. But I struggled to find anything where I'm like, yeah, this was a detractor for me for this film, for even the idea of enjoying it, let alone how surprised I was with it. So I waffle back and forth between S rank and A rank. I can easily be convinced to stick with A, though. So I'm interested to see what David over here has to say. David,
yeah, I think this
cat
is
expert.
A rank. There was nothing special in my mind to get it to S rank, but it was just an overall solid movie. I think this is the definition of an A rank movie. We had very minimal gripes. I do not think it was like a showstopper movie. I probably won't ever watch this again. But at the same time, there were so many things that were good about it that I can't give it a B. So I think this is A.
Okay. Devin, what did you think about this movie? What would you give it? What would you give it? I mean, is there something higher than S? S plus?
Maybe we should add an S plus next season. That'd be
or
funny.
SS? Triple
Well,
S?
maybe not.
Maybe not.
Okay, we
No,
skip
no,
two
no.
S's and go straight to 3.
Okay.
Or maybe
Snake.
P for platinum?
Or P for
Pussycat? Go on.
no. I mean, David pretty much took a lot of the words out of my mouth that I was gonna say. Where I think the difference between this movie and like Gran Turismo and Tetris, where I think I had higher. I think it's not even fair, but there was a slight higher expectations for Gran Turismo, especially where I was like, no, this needed to be. I heard this movie was good, and it needed to get over that, and it did that and more. I think that movie is, to me, one of the best video game movies we've watched. That's why it gets in the S tier. I think that, to me, that's part of the S tier too. Is like, yeah, that special sauce. The word special to me means like, is this in my maybe top? Because I think there's only 5 movies we have in the S tier category, and I think watching an S tier movie, I feel like I need to be like, wow, this is one of the best ones I've watched in the entire season. And might just be my top 10 of video game movies we've watched. This wouldn't crack my top 10 in video game movies, and that might be just a preference thing, because of just what is in it. I think it's a good movie. And I think it's a good drama movie. I think I would recommend this to someone who wants something, like you said, slice of life, right? Highly would recommend it, in that regard.
Also, an
But in terms
easy
of a video
foreign
game
film
movie-
to get into for people that never dabbled is like, this is a very simple concept that you can relate to.
Yeah.
It's not really necessarily reliant on knowledge of a culture that you don't know.
Or a video game.
Well, I mean, just the idea of in general of just, hey, here's a
as
foreign
opposed to
film.
some of other movies here that do, like Mortal Kombat, Legends, Battle of the Realms, right? Like, it helps if you know about the game. I know the characters in the game. And I think that's where, for me, it's like, this felt like more like a movie than a video game movie, and that's cool. That's great. But, like, I don't know. It just wasn't, like, it didn't get me to the S tier. I think the first half of the movie had more of maybe the S tier in it, but in the second half, like I said, it kind of, after a while for me, I was kind of like, okay, this is good, but I'm not like, it could have been a little shorter maybe, or some other elements need to be added to like really bring it into S tier for me. But like, I agree with David. I think there's not like a special something that's really like coming out to me, where I'm like, wow, like, and I think that to a degree, I think we're even giving this an A because of our expectations going into it. I think if this was...
I think so. And I think if we look back at the movies we've been watching, real stinkers, except for Five Nights at Freddy's. Resident Evil was pretty good, but we've watched a lot of D movies, C movies in the past.
And this felt right to me. Like, I think I would put this like above Resident Evil Damnation. And Five Nights at... I probably would watch maybe this. I probably
would watch this over Five Nights at Freddy's again.
I would think I'd only watch Five Nights at Freddy's if, I don't know, I was babysitting.
There's a different
and they wanted
context
a horror
for
movie, I guess.
right.
That's safe. You know what I mean? I'm not showing them fucking Saw.
You could be the cool babysitter.
Yeah, I could be the cool guy, the cool babysitter guy, showing horror movies like that. But no, I know it just feels right in A. Like I would put this right in the kind of maybe upper A, but kind of a little bit above middle.
Yeah.
We're
probably
doing
B
like,
tier A.
Yeah, exactly. A point decimal system where instead of a decimal number, it's just another
A
tier.
dot B.
Exactly.
I think to me it's like an A.B for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you there. To me, if I wanted to make this an S rank, one of the cats would have to be like Garfield. You know what I mean? Showing up there and like, oh, in the background he's just Garfield and he talks, but he doesn't talk for very long.
Yeah. And like I said, like a lot of the
it's
cool
the
things
Chris
I liked
Pratt
about
Garfield, so it's not that great.
Oh my.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, the cinematography was the thing that stood out for me, in the acting with it.
Yes.
But yeah, I just think the S tier is just, like I said, it's kind of it's not fair to it. It's just a preference thing. I think I'd much rather watch movies like Gran Turismo or Tetris again, just because of it's a little bit more high action pace. This isn't typically things I watch, but. And then, like I said, I mean, that's what makes this tough when we grade these, is sometimes it comes down to preference. And I don't think that's always fair, but it is what it is. But I think A is, I think, the best way we can categorize it, because it makes the most sense to me.
Well, and I think we're in agreement. Our first A rank, which nets me
Add a new letter to it.
5 points.
We just are missing an F.
I don't think we'll get to enough. Maybe soon. Maybe not. We'll see. Cool. So that netted me 5 points. However, I'm just trying to sow a little bit of drama to get people to watch the next episode. Man, that's it.
That
It's been downranking my movies.
Anyway, so we gave me 5 points for this because A equals 5. However, that's not it entirely. Isn't that right, Daven? We have a decimal system. How does that work?
We do. So we go to Rotten Tomatoes. .com.
I will be surprised.
I haven't even looked this up yet.
Yeah, I'm very curious. This could go in any direction.
Usually what we do, folks, is so you see that decimal point, like Ethan said, that is just the audience score. It's not the user, or it's not the review critic score that you see usually on the left when you look up a movie. It's the audience score. What is the general person going to the movie theater to see this think about it? And usually with Rotten Tomatoes, of course, there's people usually sometimes really mad about a movie and and really positive about a movie, and that can kind of swing it a little bit. But that's our way of adding a little bit of a fun decimal system, so there's no ties in this. That hey, you get some bonus points, and it's also really cool to see hey, were we kind of spot on? There's been ones where we're like, oh wow, like people were higher on this movie than we were, or vice versa, where we're like, hey, I think this movie's not that bad, and then it's like, fucking 14% or something like that. So it's a good way to kind of check ourselves a little bit, to not check ourselves, but like to compare ourselves to the general populace. But according to this, it does have a page. I'll say that.
I was very surprised
with a picture and everything. It has him with the regular tabby cat there, and he's working on his laptop. It's the first time the cat comes and rubs against his leg, and it's a cool, nice moment. But unfortunately, there is no tomato meter or popcorn meter. There's no meters at all. So that might come back to haunt you.
No point, no extras.
I'll post in the
Big
chat.
old zero.
I believe you. I
always post in the chat.
I mean, you're lucky you got 5. This could have been a real stinker.
This has
could have
happened
been
to me
E.
before. This has happened to me before.
That's what's tough about these more like either foreign films or even obscure ones. Like I knew that Super Mario. Did we even have one for that Super Mario Brothers movie?
I don't think it did.
Think so.
I know the second Persona
that's the risk
movie
when we
didn't have
draft.
one.
When we draft these movies, that's like something to keep in the back of your head. Like
That
we're
is
trying to
a
get those
fraction of
bonus
a point.
points. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if you get a C, but hey, you get a 50 on that.
Like 5.
It's almost like a B tier film at that point. So I'm double checking though. Let me double check. I'm just double checking. There's no it's not listed.
Oh, in 2 different ways.
Yeah.
Or like a Japanese version of Rotten
That's what I'm
Tomatoes or
looking
something.
for. There's another one here, and it has Neko and Atsume as one word, but there's no thing.
Hey,
but actually,
that's the way it
someone from
works.
someone from the Japan Times is a critic's review. There's one review. It's from a critic's review. Someone from Mark Sheeling from Japan Times wrote, Kurakata has made a sure-footed leap forward with this film, perhaps inspired by his feline subjects. March 30th of 2017. 4 out of 5 he gave it. So that's
I guess that's
5
80.
being in this.
That's 80. It's 80 points.
No,
you get 4 points.
Darn. Hey, I'm okay with what I got. Cool. Well,
so sorry about the no points. I wanted y'all to guess and everything, and
if I were to guess, I was gonna say
reviews.
90 because I think this would have been charming
Really?
because I imagine David, a weeaboo American audience watching this and writing in like, oh my god, I love this so much. That's
what I was saying earlier. Sometimes the people who leave reviews are the people who are either the most angry or the most hyped up about.
Yeah, and I guess there's not a lot to be angry about in this movie.
Dogs rule, cats drool.
Yeah,
0.
I mean,
remember cats versus dogs?
I should have looked up the IMDb and wrote a review. And that's what I should have wrote. Not enough dogs.
No. Okay, well, this was our first movie on the 5th pick trio.
Yeah.
The next movie we are going to be discussing here on the
one
channel.
movie left, by the way, for you, Ethan. One more.
Yeah, I got one left.
I know. This is your first A.
Yeah, this is the only A on the board. The next movie we're going to be watching is titled In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege Tale. That'll be the next film that we are going to review.
The Beekeeper.
Yeah, hey, it might star the Beekeeper himself, Jason Statham. So
that would have been a cooler name.
We'll watch that, and we will report back. Maybe we already did watch it. Who knows? And we'll report back on another episode to see what you guys thought as well. Remember, folks, leave a comment below on what you thought on this movie.
Leave a comment below what you think about this movie.
But we're not done.
Neko Atsume.
Oh, boy.
We are not done with
I
this
always forget
episode
about these somehow.
because it's time for everyone's new favorite game show,
you
Cat Amigos.
Recorded. I forgot anyway.
Yes.
Cat Amigos.
That's right. Devin and David have been in a fierce battle this entire season of the Sonic Movie Show, trying to earn these platinum trophies over these game shows. Currently, Devin is leading with 12 trophies to David's 3 trophies.
Yeah, I'm the underdog.
It is still... You're not the underdog. Devin's the underdog. It is still anybody's game. but we're not really.
all about branding,
really
David.
need you to be winning these, David, so I can definitely say it's still anybody's game because I don't know when that cuts off.
I'm trying.
I'm not going to do any bullshit where I'm
He's
like,
kicking
if
my ass.
David wins, he gets 2 trophies. We're not doing any of that. You
man.
got to win-win.
I'm
all right?
I'm telling you.
And
I'm
this
trying.
might just be the game show for you, David, because this is not a typical type of game show. This is a personality quiz. I went to moderncat.com, and I have decided to compile stuff based off of that. I have 4 questions for each of you. We will go back and forth. You will not have the same questions as each other.
Oh,
Okay.
see,
I
this
will
is
ask
where
you-
the game
Here
master
we
starts
go.
playing.
I'm gonna win these ones.
I will ask you a question about your
I'm good at
relationship
multiple
to
choice.
your cat. David has Bibis, and Devin has Window. This is going to see how well of a bond you
Questions
share
about my
with your
stepcat?
precious feline.
I think I
So-
win by default because I actually own my cat.
Yeah.
Well, David owns the person who owns the cat, so it works.
That's not true.
Whoa! I didn't know it was that
So
kind of
much.
relationship.
Still in the
Oh,
South.
fuck. That's
Still in the
legal?
South.
Gee.
I didn't know Maryland
All
would be
right.
like that still. God
So
damn.
we're going to go back
I
and
haven't
forth.
looked up the laws,
This,
I guess.
there are 8 total questions, but 4 of them are for David and 4 of them are for Devin. We're going to go back and forth, but this first one is for David. Devin, you can
Shotgun.
wait until your question is ready. So I'm going to ask you a question, and I will recite 3 answers. You're going to tell me your answer. I'm going to make a note. And then when we're all done, I will tell you your total score for both of you. Does that make sense? Any questions?
Yes, coach.
Meow.
I asked 2 conflicting questions there. Does it make sense? Do you have any questions? And saying yes.
Meow, senor.
You know.
Meow,
Nope,
senor.
Okay.
you're asking questions, we're answering.
Perfect.
Same as last time. Got it.
Okay. David, the first question is for
I'm
you.
salty because I'm losing.
Well, hey, try not to lose. David, question 1 is for you. Does Bibis approach you for affection? Your answers are most of the time, often, and sometimes.
This is what Ethan thinks about what actually happens. It's crazy.
This is the ultimate what would Ethan say quiz.
Ethan coded. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying sometimes.
Okay. This next question is for Devin. Devin,
Let me guess.
when Window sits near you, does she ever face away from you? Your answers are sometimes yes, sometimes not, or no idea.
What?
Can you say that again? What?
Devin, when Window sits near you, does she ever face away from you? Your answers are sometimes yes, sometimes not, and I have no idea.
Those are the same thing.
It's the same.
Are they?
Yes.
Yes.
That's don't try to bullshit that. That's the same thing.
Pick your 33% chance.
Yeah. Sometimes yes.
Okay.
Good answer.
David,
That's what I would have picked.
here is your next question. David, when you come home after being gone for several days, Bibis does what exactly? Your 3 answers are rubbing up on you, sitting on the couch or whatever, watching you, and follows you around.
2. Sit on the couch and watch.
Okay. Devin, this next question is for you. Does Window check in on you throughout the day? Your 3 possible answers are she distantly watches, she gets in your face, she'd rather be with Bryn.
I know it. I'm gonna say what's correct, which is she gets in my way because that does happen on the stream during Counter Strike.
It's happened to me.
Yeah, to you when you were here. Yeah, like she will come out to my couch a couple times during when I'm working. She'll hang out with Bryn, or she'll sleep in the other room, then come out with me, then sleep next to me, then kind of rotate. Or and then she hears her thing and she flies off the couch in full speed. So
Okay.
the answer is A. It's the correct answer.
Well, you're
I feel like I know
I'm
what
interested
Ethan's
how
answer
these
is.
A was she
score.
distantly watches, B was she gets in your face, and C was she'd
B.
rather be with Bryn.
B. Sorry, B.
Okay.
B gets in my way.
Okay.
I know. I think I know what Ethan put, but I'm playing for integrity right now.
All right.
Same.
We are halfway
Defend the
there.
window.
David, this next one is for you. David, Bibis is lying next to you. What's her posture? Your 3 possible answers are sitting upright and leaves when you reach for her, stretched out, tummy up, paused, exposed, or curled up with some distance between you.
God. 3 things that have never happened. Sorry, what was the first 2?
I'll read all 3 of them together. Your 3 answers are sitting upright and leaves when you reach for her. B is stretched out, tummy up, paused, exposed. And C was curled up with some distance between you. You say A? Okay.
Yep.
All right. Devin, this next question is for you.
What question are we on?
This is
Yeah, how
your
many
second to
questions?
last question.
Okay.
And that was David's second to last question. And I have not been updating this above me. I'm
That's
sorry.
why I was confused. I was
I'm
like,
sorry.
wait.
It's a lot of effort. There's a lot of stuff
Come
going
on, man. Come on,
There's a lot of
Jack.
stuff going on. You can edit it in post. All right, Devin, here's your question.
I got you.
Devin, when you're at home, window is ... Your 3 answers are hiding, relaxed somewhere nearby, or won't leave you alone.
On average, she comes and bothers me to check in, basically, like I said earlier. But see, I see the consistency with the questions or the answers to the questions. So logically I should pick C, but I'm gonna go B because that's what it really is. If she is hanging out, she'll be kind of nearby. Sometimes she is next to me on the couch, but there's other times where she goes sits on the
Okay.
out in the window near the window.
David-
Near the window.
Classic.
David, this is your last question. Speak
I get
honestly
this
here.
one.
Lay it on
David, does
4 for
Bibis
4
like
right now.
to be held by you? Your 3 answers are yes,
There's
but not
3.
for long, tries to escape as soon as you pick her up, and feels like she's holding you instead.
2.
Okay.
Like this is so subjective. I love it.
And
It doesn't even matter if
I
there's
can
any
only be
score, by
truthful.
the way. Ethan could just be like David once.
Yeah, just give me the point already. Let me catch up.
Devin,
wins.
Devin, here is your final question. Devin,
Locked in.
if you've ever hidden yourself from window, does she look for you? Your 3 possible answers are she wishes you stayed gone, she wanders into you but doesn't linger there, or she calls out for you.
She does sometimes be like meow when I think she doesn't know where anyone is, and then if you say something or I'm here, she won't meow anymore, which makes me think she does not know where we go sometimes, legitimately. I'll say B because I think she kind of wanders.
Okay.
Or she'll hang. Yeah, she'll kind of hang near you if she hears you, but
So,
she's looking for you.
each of these questions that you guys answered had 3 answers. Each of those answers had a point value associated with them. 1, 2, or 3 points. So, by answering 4 questions, the minimum score one could get is 4, and the maximum is 12. I will say this. One of you is more honest than the other. However, we are not talking this subjectively. I had objective numerics attached to this. One of you is more than twice the score of the other. David,
I think
you had a perfectly minimal score of 4. You answered number 1 point for all 4 questions. And Devin, you have 10 points. You were almost perfect there. So Devin has won
my God.
once more.
What? Wait, can
Another
you explain
trophy.
that? I don't understand the point system.
Can you explain the point
Wait, how
system
did I
again?
have 4 points for 1 question?
All right, David, your first question was, does Bibis approach you for affection?
Yeah.
Your 3 answers were, most of the time, which was worth 3 points, often, which was worth 2 points, or sometimes, which was worth 1 point. And you said sometimes.
Oh, so it was 3, 2, 1 for every question.
Well, not in that order. For instance, your second question was 3, 1, 2, and you answered with 1.
There's just the best answer, then there's like a C tier answer, and then an F tier.
I didn't want to tell you all this stuff because I wanted you to speak honestly and not to try to gain it for points. That being said, congratulations, Devin, on your 13th platinum trophy. You have 10 more than David.
I thought David crushed this one. Honestly, I was waiting to get blown out.
Same.
I will say this. I think we
the
know what we need to work
truthful
on
answers
as human beings. Maybe some of us need to love our cats more than others.
No.
Maybe that journey in and of itself is worth more than any trophy I could give. All right,
That's what
folks.
dogs are for.
Just like the movie.
That's true. You guys both have large dogs, and I guess David is only possible to like one pet at a time. Of course, I don't really know what Devin's relationship to Mickey is. I've never met Mickey, so to be fair.
Mickey loves
Pretty
me,
good guy,
but I'm more stern with them
yeah.
than Bryn is. Bryn's a little bit more like baby, 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 and I'm like, Mick, stop fucking barking, dude. What are you doing? You're 4. You're almost 4. You're still barking. You're still barking at the people going up down the stairs that you hear every day. What are we doing here? And he starts doing that kind of stuff. I'm like, he actually when they delivered my phone, he freaking out, right? Because he heard the doorbell. He's like, a million miles an hour. And me and Bryn are both trying to like get him to the other room so I can open the door cleanly without having him
tackle you down.
Out. Yeah. And this is the first time where he like we're trying to grab him. He's whining a little bit, and then Bryn like really tries to like physically grab him and like kind of push him into the thing, and he does like this yelp, and I'm like, shut! I was like, dude, shut up! You were, yeah. I'm like, and then like, and I eventually was like, screw it, I'm just gonna try to open the door and I'll fight him, and he basically like trying to stick his head through like my legs, and I'm just like, 1 second, FedEx, But then as soon as like he saw him, or after I went outside, I came back inside dead quiet, and he's just like looking at me like he didn't. I'm like, you're so sorry.
I didn't do anything. This is just the normal way I sit. Yeah, exactly.
Did not act like he just like broke his leg or something. He's like, oh! I'm like, dude, you're not giving me that.
He should play soccer. And you know what you should do at home? Like, subscribe. There's a bell that you can click, and it pretends it's ringing, but you really just clicked an icon. So you're going to do that, and then you're going to type in the comments below on this episode, wow, I sure love them cats. Yay.
Look what I have near my desk because I love cats so much.
A battery? Oh, a laser pointer. Wow. Great, you're on the X-Files now. America's Most Wanted. We're on the YouTube primarily, but we're also on a variety of podcast platforms such as Amazon's Audible, Apple's Apple Music, and Spotify's Spotify. We're also on, and Deezer is one of the only ones that isn't one of those 3 that we remember because it's funny to say. I think there's like Podbean or some Beancast. I don't know. We set up those RSS feeds years ago.
We were on spicy sites.
Yeah, we are.
Deezer Nuts and Podbean.
Yep. Not SoundCloud because you have to pay individually for that.
See our episodes on OnlyFans as well.
That's right. Right. We re-record every episode. No shirts.
Yeah, we're on the hub.
Just for those.
Absolutely. So if you feel like our opinions are a little bit stilted on that site, it's because we've said them again. That's the second time. You know what I mean? We already know what everyone says. So. Yes, and we're on social media everywhere. Socials can be mediated at Sonic Movie Show. So check us out. Give us a like. Give us a follow. Give us a thing, and enjoy our content. And as we always say, to round out every episode of the Sonic Movie Show, kitty cat out.
Cat.